Good day everyone. Today, I will be discussing unit testing. In software development, testing is a very important process because it helps developers make sure that the system works correctly and efficiently. In this presentation, we will learn what unit testing is, its purpose, importance, process, and its advantages and limitations. Let us define unit testing. Unit testing is a software testing technique that focuses on testing individual units or components of code to ensure they function correctly. So instead of testing the whole system at once, developers first check the smallest parts of the program. This helps them easily identify errors or bugs in the code. By testing the small units first, developers can fix problems early before the system becomes more complex. Next, what is a unit? A unit is the smallest testable part of a program. Examples of units are a method, a function, or a class. These small parts are tested individually to make sure that each one works correctly before they are combined with other parts of the system. The main purpose of unit testing is to ensure that each part of the program works as expected. First, it helps detect bugs early in the development process, which prevents bigger problems later. Second, it supports refactoring, which means improving or modifying the code structure without changing its functionality. Third, it helps improve the overall quality of the software. And lastly, it verifies the correctness of the code, ensuring that each function produces the expected result. Unit testing plays a very important role in developing reliable software. It helps reduce system errors because problems are identified early. It also saves time and cost since fixing bugs during early development is easier compared to fixing them after the system is already complete. Another importance of unit testing is that it improves the reliability of the system, making it more stable and dependable. Lastly, it makes system maintenance easier, especially when developers need to update or improve the program. Unit testing is also part of the software development lifecycle or SDLC. It is usually performed during the development phase, right after a developer writes a piece of code. Before combining different modules or components together, each unit must first be tested individually. This is done before integration testing, where multiple units are connected and tested as a group. By doing unit testing early, developers can prevent many defects from appearing later in the development process. There are different levels of testing. First is unit testing, which focuses on testing individual components of a program. Second is integration testing, where several units are combined and tested together to check if they interact properly. Third is systems testing, where the entire system is tested as a complete product to make sure that all features and functions work correctly. Each type of testing has a different purpose, but they all work together to ensure software quality. White box testing. Unit testing is considered a type of white box testing. In white box testing, the tester has knowledge about the internal structure and logic of the code. This means the tester understands how the code works and tests the logic, control flow, and conditions inside the program. Because of this, unit testing is usually performed by developers themselves since they are the ones who wrote the code. There are two types of unit testing. The first is manual testing, where developers check each part of the program manually without using special tools. Second is automated unit testing, where testing is done using tools or frameworks to automatically check if the code works correctly. To perform automated unit testing, developers often use frameworks. Some popular frameworks include PyTest, which is commonly used for Python programming. For Java developers, JUnit is widely used, And for .NET applications, developers commonly use NUnit. Unit testing process usually follows several steps. First, the developer writes a test case which defines what part of the code will be tested. Second, the developer provides input values to the unit being tested. Third, the test is executed or run. And lastly, the expected output is compared with the actual output produced by the program. If the outputs match, the test passes. If not, the developer needs to fix the code. For example, we created a function called addNumbers that adds two numbers. Then we created a unit test called test_addNumbers. In this test case, we check if the function returns the correct result. For example, if the input values are 2 and 3, the expected output is 5. If the result matches the expected output, the test passes. If the result is different, it means there is an error in the code. There are several benefits of unit testing. First, it helps developers detect problems early, which reduces the chance of major system failures. It also improves code quality because developers are encouraged to write cleaner and more organized code. Another benefit is that it simplifies debugging, since errors can be traced to a specific unit. Disadvantages of unit testing. It requires additional time and effort, especially when developers need to write many test cases. It also depends heavily on developers, since they are responsible for creating effective tests. Some units, especially complex ones or user interface components, can also be difficult to test individually. Unit testing also has some limitations. It cannot detect integration problems between different modules. It also requires time to create effective test cases. And lastly, the effectiveness of unit testing depends on the quality of the test cases written by the developers. To conclude, unit testing is a fundamental practice in software development that focuses on verifying individual components of a program to ensure they function correctly. So it means that developers test the small parts of components of a program individually to make sure they function correctly before combining them into the complete system.